Well, good afternoon again, everybody, and welcome back to the Duke Dome here at York High School for the York Holiday Basketball Tournament. My name is Eric Allgood, Strive Sports Director. We have color commentary here for at least part of, if not all of, Game 2. Tim Hulls is, how many hats do you wear at Hampton High School now? Let's see, principal, AD, bus coordinator, substitute math at times, something, I don't know.
Any hat that I need to wear to get the job done, Eric. That's the motto.
So we're looking forward to this. We've got the boys matchup between Hastings St. Cecilia and Platteview. This game last year was a fun one to watch this matchup would have been fun to watch. They didn't play in the tournament a year ago, but both teams last year, loads of talent, top ranked in their classes. Platteview and York, that epic double overtime game in the round one. Had Division I players on both sides and great small college guys on both sides. And all of those guys graduated, it seems like. So young teams still trying to find their way. You've got a nephew on the St. Cecilia team, and so I think this will be fun to watch how these two teams go at each other.
Yeah, if you look on the rosters, you notice that they match up really well size-wise. They're both very young teams, like you said, Eric. They graduated quite a few from years past. So it'll be interesting. I'm not familiar with either one of these teams, so it'll be fun for us to watch this transpire.
Platteview in the home white, St. Cecilia in the road blue. For St. Cecilia, they will go with John Starr, a 5'9 freshman, Paul Fagot, a 6'4 freshman, Gus Driscoll is a 6'1 junior, Garrett Parr is a 6'3 freshman, and Ashton Valentine, a 6-foot senior. Yeah, freshman, junior, freshman, senior in the roster in the lineup to start for St. Cecilia. For Platteview, they will go with Trey Brodsky, a 6'4 junior. Paxton Swanson is a 6'4 junior. They also have Braxton Karnick, 6-foot junior. Tyler Riley is a 6-foot sophomore, and Evan Kingston, a 6-foot senior. We saw Evan plenty in the games last year for Platteview, but should be exciting times, and two teams again trying to find their way. What exactly can these young fellas do, and how can they learn to attack and play defense against different kinds of offenses and defenses? It's Platteview with the ball first. This is Brodsky with it out on the far left side. Now back over to the right for Braxton Karnick and back to Brodsky. The 1-3-1 defense for Hastings St. Cecilia. And a long skip pass is picked off. That was Gus Driscoll. Man-to-man defense for Platteview. Into the corner it goes for Valentine. The other thing that's kind of interesting, I think, Tim, is to look at, we mentioned so many, 3 freshmen in the starting lineup as Garrett Parr turns into the lane. 3 freshmen in the starting lineup and a senior, and it doesn't take long to figure out which one is the senior on the floor. Physically developed, Ashton Valentine looks a lot different than his teammates out there. Yes.
It'll be interesting watching this game, how it started out with one team going with St. Cecilia going with a 1-3-1 aggressive zone, and then Platteview going man-to-man. It's always fun to kind of watch these matchups when you have both teams doing different defenses.
That is Gus Driscoll. He got the steal on defense. He finishes it on offense with the floating bank shot for the early 2-0 lead for the Blue Hawks. Evan Kingston over to the right side. There goes a 3 up. The rebound tipped out of bounds off St. Cecilia. Will stay with Platteview as Tyler Riley put that shot up.
That's one thing you'll give up defensively on a 1-3 zone is there going to be a little more offensive rebounds. It's hard matching up and finding people in that 1-3-1 zone because you extend out so far.
Good ball movement. Brodsky for the 3, no good. But an offensive rebound tracked down by Karnick.
See how Platteview attacks the 1-3-1 zone, finding gaps and attacking. That was a good attack, good movement.
That's what you got to do is get into the middle of those wings. From the top in the wing, can you get into the lane from there? If you can really break down that defense. But the St. Cecilia bench making some noise for the boys in blue. A great defensive stand so far on this drive. Brodsky, though, gets the floater to go.
Very nice shot.
Trey Brodsky Evan Kingston, both a couple of guys that played a lot last year. With some kid named Brady Hyman. I guess he's going to school in Lincoln now, and Tim Miles is his coach. Doing pretty good too. So we're all square, 2 apiece.
We'll see how the young St. Cecilia team handles the in-your-face type pressure that they're applying right now at Platteview is.
Long 3 put up that time by Valentine, no good. And here comes the Trojans quickly back to the other end. Brodsky into the corner it goes. The 3 goes up for Karnick. The defensive rebound for Fagot.
I don't think that was necessarily a rushed shot. It was a open shot, and when you're in a 1-3-1 defense, if you get an open shot out there before the defense comes to you, it's a good shot.
Blocking foul as Valentine goes baseline. They're going to get Karnick for his first personal. And the team's second. In for St. Cecilia comes Alec Van Skiver, 6'5" sophomore.
Coach Asher has got to be very excited about the future of his team if you look at size-wise, and they've got really good frames too.
Yep, just need the time in the weight room, right?
Yeah, and just play.
And then eventually they all look like Ashton Valentine.
Yeah.
This is Valentine on the dribble drive into the lane with the up and under, banks it home. So 4-2. Scoring, it'll be interesting to see, I think, as well. Platteview scores 51.5 a game. They give up 49.5. St. Cecilia, despite a 4-3, a winning record, average score of 42 to 44 in favor of the other team.
That's what makes you great at what you do, Eric. You've got all this stuff taken care of. You do a good job.
Thank you. The ball movement, the skip, the
nice
3,
shot.
It's good. Evan Kingston rattles it home.
And Eric, you mentioned ball skip and ball reversals, which is another way to attack the zone. So nice job on their part there.
Van Skiver well away from the hoop, passes it off to Starr, one of the freshmen. On to the block, tried to get to Valentine. He spins through the double team, and a foul. See if they call it in the shot or on the floor.
That foul was on Swanson.
Yep. No, Karnick. 30.
Good call.
And it was on the shot. Luke Rodriguez, number 21, in for the first time for St. Cecilia. Both free throws good, and a 30-second timeout taken by Platteview. That lets us let you know that today's game is brought to you by Cornerstone Bank, based here in York, but locations all over the state of Nebraska. Huge supporters of whatever community they might be in, and especially here at York High School, and especially with us at Strive TV. So a huge thank you to Cornerstone Bank for presenting the York Holiday Tournament. We would also like to say thank you to Truck Center Companies, who has a location on the south side of the interstate here in York, and also to Region 5 Systems, providing some financial support so that we get to come do fun stuff like this and set up a whole bunch of cameras and make it look like ESPN and the production truck. We don't have the truck yet, but we've got everything else in the truck, Tim.
It's amazing what the sponsors do. And you mentioned Cornerstone Bank. Any school in the area that you go to, you'll notice there's signage up, and a lot of times it's either on the scoreboard or on the side of the wall. So a huge shout out to Cornerstone Bank.
St. Cecilia still on the 1-3-1 and a 6-5 lead for the Blue Hawks. Step back 3, almost made it twice, but it rattles out, no good for Tyler Riley. And Skiver with the defensive rebound for the Blue Hawks. Alec has it again on the right wing. And now Starr on the left.
Early on in the game, very impressed with how patient St. Cecilia has been with this man-to-man. Being a young team, and that shadows what the coaches are doing. Just teaching them about the game and slowing down. So nice job on the coach's part for St. Cecilia.
John Starr's 3 off the rim and then off of the support above the hoop, so that's out of bounds and goes to Platteview. Give you a little different angle of the Platteview offensive set this time. Long 3 left side, swish it home for Evan Kingston. Evan, he knows how to hit an open 3 when a defense collapses on one guy, right? Brady Hyman had that happen a few times last year, and Evan was usually one of those guys on the receiving end of a Hyman pass out of the block when 4 guys were trying to guard Brady. Nice baseline move for Valentine. Can't quite get the layup to fall. And here come the Trojans, leading 8-6. Onto the block. The in and out. Kingston's 3, good again. He's got 3 of them in the opening period. Evan Kingston with 9 of Plattview's 11. Minute 45 to play, opening period. Valentine up top. Lost it for a moment, got it back. Now excuse me. There is a par, but that wasn't him. Valentine onto the block. Van Skiver turns on Swanson and finishes with a left hand.
Nice move. We'll see how St. Cecilia defends here with a few outside shots falling the last couple of times down the court. Looks like they're still in a 1-3-1. We'll see how far they extend it.
Certainly have to run at Kingston a little faster. Nope, going to get another chance, but right before he does, a 3-second violation. So wave off the shot attempt, the second turnover of the game for Platteview. And Jake Hyman into the ball game for the first time. Jake is a 6'4" junior. 3-point lead for Platteview. St. Cecilia with the basketball. John Starr across the timeline, guarded by Evan Kingston. Valentine up top. Ashton splashes it home. And just like that, we're all tied up at 11 apiece. Half a minute to play, opening period. Perhaps one final shot here for Platteview in this opening period. Into the corner it goes for Riley. Bounces high, no, out of bounds. Last touched by Platteview, they say, with 2.5 seconds to go. So an opportunity here for St. Cecilia as Jared Privet will come in.
That was a good shot by Riley. I think Platteview did a great job of being patient, great ball movement. They got an open shot.
And also in, Matt Boyd comes in. So again, 2.5 officially on the clock. Valentine just chucks it. And right off the front of the rim at the buzzer. At the end of one, we are all square at 11. Here from the York Holiday Tournament. Come back in just a minute.
It's thanks to you that we're where we are today. We're proud to watch these communities grow because they're our communities too. Our neighbors, our friends. It's where we live. These are all our hometowns. And no matter what, the people who will continue to serve your needs with the hometown support you know and trust are just down the street. Cornerstone Bank, growing together.
Tied up at 11 as we get ready for the second 8 minutes of the ball game. Evan Kingston with 3 threes for his 9 points in that first quarter. And Tim, it's always fun when we come to the to any event. It's kind of fun to get a little interaction on social media. Strive Sports is the place to be.
Check it out, and that's on Twitter.
On
correct,
Twitter,
Eric?
at Strive Sports.
If you are listening, let us know where you're listening from. If you're on Twitter, go to Twitter at Strive Sports. Tag at Strive Sports. Let us know where you're listening from. We'd love to hear from you.
St. Cecilia with the ball first. How about these Blue Hawks? We mentioned the youth, 3 freshmen in the starting lineup, not a turnover in the first quarter.
And the one thing we keep forgetting is Platteview is just as young as well.
Right.
They might not be starting, as many freshmen as St. Cecilia, but it's good to see these young players play solid.
Valentine on the wing for Fago on the block. Turn with the right hand, just a little short. Hyman with a defensive rebound. So we mentioned Kingston with 3 threes for 9 points in the opening quarter, leading the way for Platteview, and Ashton Valentine with 7 points in the first quarter for St. Cecilia. And a foul on Matt Boyd.
It was a good drive by Riley, too. You got to make the defense move, and I think they've been doing a good job of that, but mostly with ball movement. I think I liked that drive. It's just added a different wrinkle, something else to the St. Cecilia defense to think about.
Yep, you got to make that 1-3-1 is most effective when it's spread out, but if you can make it collapse, it can get a few things a lot more wide open. Kingston a drive and a dish. Riley finally knocks one down. Boy, he's had some good looks. Gets one to go. Tyler Riley with his first 3 of the ball game.
And that started with a dribble drive and a kick out.
Yep. Valentine on the near wing. Brodsky on the defense. Tough drive.
Strong move.
And Ashton Valentine gets the finish. He's got 9 to lead the way for St. Cecilia. 1-point contest. Platteview with the lead in the basketball. Brodsky, nice drive. Can't get the finish. And the rebound. I think Brodsky was out of bounds when he tried to save that thing back in, so it goes to St. Cecilia.
Eric, I would say the first 10 minutes of the game here, I really don't see an advantage of either team right now, which could lead to a very interesting finish, a very exciting game.
The winner and loser gets their counterparts, Elkhorn and York. The girls' game will be the next one here at the Duke Dome with the boys as the nightcap. Valentine, another tough drive. Hangs in the lane. He cannot finish that time, though. The defensive rebound for Brodsky, and he's fouled on the way up the floor. Garrett Parr with his first, just the second team foul. And for all of the youth and or inexperience on both teams, very clean foul-wise, too. It's usually a sign of good coaching, too, right? I mean, you got to be able to put guys in good spots. And Evan Kingston continues to hit from the outside, his 4th 3 of the first half. He's got 12 points, and it's 17-13, Platteview on top.
I'm sure Coach Asher has taken note of that, and he'll adjust next time out, dead ball or at the half.
Spin move down the lane, off the back, but no good. But Paul Fago will have a chance at a couple of free throws. 6'4" freshman. Brodsky, the guilty party for Platteview, his first, the team's 4th. John Starr back in for St. Cecilia. So, couple of free throws, both good. And it's 17-15. Platteview in front. And with the basketball, Brodsky to Hyman. Back to Trey. Kingston, good ball fake, pulls up at 18 feet and gets fouled on the shot. You don't see that very often, a pull up at about 17, 18 feet there, but Kingston was able to draw the foul.
That ball fake relied that wing defender to move towards the wing, which allowed him to dribble drive in there. And I think it was a good shot. It was a contested shot, but he has proven that he can shoot the ball well.
Knocks down the first free throw. He's got 13 out of Plattview's 18 points. Paxton Swanson into the game for Platteview. Kingston no problem on the 2 free throws. So a 4-point Trojan lead, 19-15, with 5 minutes to go here in the first half. This might be the biggest lead of the game for either team, right? It's been back and forth throughout. Valentine with his dribble up top, working on Brodsky, gets to the rim, can't finish the rebound. As Valentine slow to get up.
I didn't actually see what happened, Eric. I don't know if it happened on his way down.
It was either on the way down or on the first step, but they're taking a look at the right lower leg of Ashton Valentine. You see he's not putting a lot of weight on that, so somewhere below the knee that is not feeling so good, although he's putting a little more pressure on it the farther he gets off the floor, so that's a good sign.
He's an important piece to that puzzle for St. Cecilia right now. Being the only senior, he provides a lot of leadership.
And the ball will be St. Cecilia's. Went out of bounds off of Platteview. And that's a 5-second violation. So really good defense on the inbounds for Platteview and St. Cecilia. That is the first turnover of the game for the Blue Hawks.
And going against a man-to-man defense being the first turnover is even more impressive.
Four-point Trojan lead, working around the outside of this 1-3-1 zone from St. Cecilia. Pass to the block, out of bounds and off of Driscoll.
I think later on in the game, Platteview is going to have to get the bigs inside or get the ball inside a few times to make the defense work differently. Right now, it's just been a lot of ball movement and dribble drive. So hopefully they can get the ball in there a few times as the game transpires.
Riley's 3 just strong, but an offensive rebound, a second try for Kingston, no good. And another offensive rebound. Brodsky, again, no good. Bigs are doing work. The ball is loose. St. Cecilia has got it. Good job tracking that one down by Garrett Parr. St. Cecilia trailing by 4. Starr with his dribble. Pass over to the left side for Parr. Into the lane, and a traveling is the call. So even with back-to-back turnovers, still that stat is even, 2 apiece.
Yep. Last time down the floor, St. Cecilia gave up quite a few offensive rebounds. Again, that's just when you're playing a 1-3-1, that's much more likely to happen.
And then a turnover as Riley looked like he was going to start to cut baseline, and Brodsky's pass went right behind him, out of bounds. Been stuck on 19-15 for a couple of possessions each way now.
It's an important possession for St. Cecilia.
Onto the block, baseline cut. Ball movement good, but Platteview recovers well. Starr with his dribble on the far side, guarded by Brodsky. Or excuse me, that's Kingston. Van Sciver, turnaround.
That's a nice shot.
Rattles out, though, and the defensive rebound for Brodsky. And then a cross-court pass is picked off. Driscoll picks that one off. An outlet pass is deflected away by Brodsky, but it will stay with St. Cecilia.
And St. Cecilia, even with the absence of Valentine right here, they have to continue to remain patient, and they've been doing a great job with this, but this will really show what the young kids have for their mindset right now.
Starr with his dribble, bounces it to Van Sciver on the block. Alec goes to work into the lane, called for the travel though. Earlier in girls action, in case you might have missed it, Platteview and St. Cecilia and the girls, the Blue Hawks, pretty good in girls basketball. They are undefeated now at 8-0 after a 52-36 win. Really balanced scoring. 9 of the 10 players that played for St. Cecilia scored at least 2 points in the game, led by Bailey Kissinger, who had 12 points, 10 of which came in the third quarter. Cross court, oh, that was picked off just a little slow. Now here comes Driscoll. Can't get the finish though. The defensive rebound for Brodsky.
Good ball movement. That's a nice move. That's what they need to do more of.
And onto the block, Paxton Swanson gets the finish for the Trojans. So finally, we break 19-15 and it's 21-15. And a timeout for St. Cecilia. Coach Kevin Asher wants to talk about something for a full timeout, and we do as well here on Strive TV's coverage of the York Holiday Invite.
It's thanks to you that we're where we are today. We're proud to watch these communities grow because they're our communities too. Our neighbors, our friends. It's where we live. These are all our hometowns. And no matter what, the people who will continue to serve your needs with the hometown support you know and trust are just down the street. Cornerstone Bank, growing together.
Teens drink 1/4 of all alcohol sold in Nebraska. That's 2 times the national average, 5th worst in the nation. But there's something proven to stop teen binge drinking. It's called parenting, and there is one parenting style that works best. Learn more about the parenting style that works against teen drinking. Talkaboutalcohol.org.
Back here at the York Holiday Invite. Saying hi to Matt Rossow, who is watching from the couch in Hastings. Just watched big Alec Van Sciver with a finish. Alec has had a couple of nice post moves. He's a big presence down there, especially with Ashton Valentine out of the lineup currently. We saw him leave about a minute and a half ago with a leg injury. But Van Sciver's been a nice presence down there with 4 points.
He moves well for a 6'5" sophomore.
Plattview's turnovers have mounted just a little bit here in the last couple of minutes. 3 of them in the last 3 minutes, 5 total for the game. 4-point lead, 21-17 for Platteview with St. Cecilia's basketball. Nice drive to the baseline, but the finish just off that time from Driscoll. And here come the Trojans. Again, the 1-3-1 zone. So we're just under a minute to go. Sully Stain on the floor with the ball right now for the Trojans. Evan Kingston into the lane, back out. Now 35 seconds left.
Good throw in there by. Nice work. Good work.
Yep.
I was just going to mention they need to look at Swanson, and they did.
Yep, Swanson, that's a good matchup between Swanson and Van Sciver in the post there. Swanson winning that battle. Pushes the lead to 5, 23-17 with under 19 seconds to go in the first half. Starr will set up the offense for St. Cecilia. Now it's Driscoll, back to Starr. Down the lane, floating shot, good for the freshman. 2 seconds left, this would count. Just off the side of the hoop. We've had 2 close calls at the end of the first 2 periods. At the end of the first half, it is Platteview 23 and St. Cecilia 19. Love to see where you are watching from. Hit us up on Twitter at Strive Sports. Let us know who you're rooting for and where you are watching from. Love to give shout-outs if we can. 23-19. We'll do some halftime scoring coming up. After this, you're watching Strive TV. We are back for the start of the second half between Platteview and Hastings St. Cecilia here at the York Holiday Tournament. My name is Eric Allgood. Tim Holes with me on color commentary. Tim, two teams that we said in the opening, young as far as experience. We're both about 7 or 8 games into a lot of these guys playing varsity basketball for the first time, but playing pretty well, and you can see both these teams, especially for St. Cecilia, another year or two, these guys are going to be really good.
Yeah, I agree with you, Eric, and I noticed as we start the second half, the absence of Ashton Valentine. So his sprain or injury, whatever it was significant enough that he's not playing here the second half. Let's hope everything's okay.
Well, he's on the end of the bench with an ice pack right now, so not in that lineup. In his place, it's Luke Rodriguez in the starting lineup for the second half. Down onto the post, there is Swanson, and a foul on Paxton after he missed the shot with a push in the back. So 23-19, we mentioned Evan Kingston, 4 threes in the first half, and he had 3 of them in the first quarter, and that fourth 3 came pretty early on in the second quarter, was quiet for most of that second period, however. Tyler Riley hit a 3, Paxton Swanson did have 4, all in the second quarter. Trey Brodsky with 2 for the Platteview Trojans. We've got a foul on the rebound as Brodsky had it.
That was a nice move by Garrett underneath. Very quick move.
Rodriguez picks up the foul. For St. Cecilia, the scoring star, Fagot, Driscoll, all with 2. Van Sciver with 4. And Ashton Valentine, we mentioned 9 points before he went out with that leg injury. Does not look like he will be returning to the ball game here in this second half.
Notice a great dribble drive. The defense collapsed and it allowed Swanson to get an open shot.
And clearly, Coach Brodsky's ideas in the second or at halftime were the post needs the ball in some way, shape, or form. The post needs the ball, whoever it is out there. So far, every possession has at least tried to get it to Swanson. Braxton Karnick just picked up his 3rd foul, 2nd team foul on the Trojans. Just over a minute and a half gone in the 3rd. Starr, the freshman point guard, guarded by Kingston, the senior who has been through some battles in his career. Nice dribble drive and the finish for Paul Fagot. Paul's got 4 points in the contest, and it's a 4-point game, 25-21.
Good ball movement, good drive.
Brodsky with a drive, his pass gets off, and a foul on the shot is going to send Braxton Karnick to the free throw line. The foul whistled against Fagot, his first and the team's second. Karnick scoreless so far in the ball game. His first trip to the foul line. Didn't see a missed free throw in the first half. 2 for 2 for Platteview and 4 for 4 for St. Cecilia. And, of course, as soon as I say that, I apologize, Braxton. But that's okay, because usually that means they make the second one.
We'll see what happens.
Thank you. See, that broadcasting jinx is only good for one
shot,
and then they come right back. So, 5-point lead again for the Trojans, 26-21. This the largest lead of the game, though, and a steal for Kingston. Leaves it up ahead. Tyler Riley, coast to coast, can't get it to go, but an offensive rebound. The putback is good by Brodsky. Just the 4th turnover of the game on that steal by Kingston. Baseline drive, Rodriguez spins one in off the backboard.
Awkward shot, but they all count the same.
As long as it goes through the rim and all the way through the net, it counts. Kingston, a drive and a pull-up, and it's good. Evan
Pace
Kingston
has kind of picked up a little bit here, Eric.
All of a sudden, Kingston with 16 points, but really he went essentially over a quarter without scoring right there before that basket. So seeing the ball through the hoop does good things for shooters and scorers. 7-point lead is the biggest lead of the game, and that one off the foot of John Starr and out of bounds.
What I'm looking for now, Eric, with St. Cecilia in this man-to-man defense that they're going against, when I say the word patience, that necessarily doesn't mean how long you can hold the ball. It's also how you are setting up the defense and how you are coming off screens, how you're waiting for your offense to develop, doing things quick but not in a hurry. Those are things that you kind of look for when you mention the term patience.
The ball movement good. Tyler Riley rocking down the three in the corner, his second of the ball game. And the lead is now 10 for Platteview. This game had been so back and forth. 4 points, 3 points, 2 points. And just when it goes to 10, it comes right back to 8 on a nice cut and finish by Gus Driscoll. 4 points for Gus. The lead is 8 for Platteview.
We'll see if they look inside for Swanson.
Dribble drive, pull up by Kingston. Can't finish. Van Sciver with a defensive rebound. Eight-point lead for Platteview. St. Cecilia trying to chip away at that.
Look inside.
Tough move and a good finish from Garrett Parr. 4 different Blue Hawks have scored in this quarter now. That pace has picked up, like we said, 33-27 our score.
And Garrett has had some really good drives the last couple of possessions to a point where he's not playing like a freshman.
In the lane, Brodsky got it in a foul. Van Sciver with the foul. His first, team's third. And Trey Brodsky trying for the three-point play. Jake Hyman into the ball game for Platteview. He's on the defense, but a nice drive again, and it'll be Hyman on the foul after the drive from Gus Driscoll. Gus has been much more aggressive here in the second half, trying to get to the rim and making something happen. 3 team fouls against Platteview now and here in the second half. Hyman picks up his first foul for the game. St. Cecilia now 4 for 5 from the free throw line in the ball game. And now they're 5 for 6. Timeout, St. Cecilia, 30-second timeout for Coach Kevin Asher. 3:04 to play, third quarter, 36-28. Always love interacting on Twitter.
If you are listening and if you are on the Bluebird, go ahead and let us know where you're listening from. It's at Strive Sports. Where are you listening from and who are you rooting for?
Kyle Fisher. I have a feeling that Kyle Fisher is rooting for Platteview because he is saying go Trojans from Springfield.
Yeah.
Now, he doesn't mention Springfield, Illinois or Missouri or the one in The Simpsons, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's the one here in Nebraska.
You just aged yourself when you said The Simpsons there, Eric.
But I didn't. It's still going, Tim. I mean, now if I would have said like season 1 Simpsons.
Okay.
But, yeah, The Simpsons are timeless, man.
They are.
36-28 our score. 3:04 to play here in the third quarter of the first round of the York Holiday Basketball Tournament. The loser will play for third place tomorrow, somewhere around 12:45 or so. Nice give and go. Brodsky with a finish that time, and Kingston on the assist. And that boys championship will be the last game of the day tomorrow, somewhere probably around 4 o'clock or so. By the time we get to that point, it'll be the fourth of the 4 games. We start at 11 a.m. with the girls' third place game and figure roughly an hour and 45 minutes for every game after that. 10-point lead again for Platteview.
And you notice St. Cecilia is in a man-to-man right now.
So changing it up. Also a new player. First time we have seen Braden Schropp, another freshman. He's 5'8", and he wears number 23 out there for the Blue Hawks. Kingston, left corner. Now Brodsky up top. Under 2 minutes to go. There goes up a three from Hyman, no good. Quickly to the other end comes St. Cecilia. That's Schropp with it on the wing, guarded by Kingston. Onto the block. Van Sciver turns, goes
nice
with the
move.
left hand, left it short, but an offensive rebound and a foul on the way up. So Garrett Parr comes in there, rips a rebound away from two Trojans, and draws a foul for his efforts. That's called on Evan Kingston, his second, the team's fourth of the half. 2 shots for Parr on the way.
And prior to that shot and offensive rebound, they got the ball inside. And it produced a good shot. And there's a lot of basketball left to play, even though St. Cecilia is down by close to 10 points. There's a lot of basketball left to play. So you don't need to be shooting the three-pointer. You're not going to make it all up in one possession. So continue to pound it inside, and good things will happen.
One for two there as Swanson corrals the rebound. A 9-point lead for Platteview with 1:20 to go in the third quarter. Nice
play.
pass to the backside. Brodsky with a little bit of an alley-oop layup that time. Brodsky has come alive with 7 points in the period, and the lead is 11. Biggest lead of the game for Platteview.
And that play comes from good recognition to Pryor. Another nice move. The play before that by Platteview, that comes to just prior possessions, seeing how the defense is playing you and what kind of play you can set up to make that backdoor pass happen.
The big fella's in the post. Van Sciver gets an and-one opportunity that time on the foul by Swanson. Paxton picks up his second, the team's fifth of the half.
I'm impressed by Van Sciver. He's got good feet. And I've said it before, he moves well for his size and his age.
.65 sophomore is Van Sciver. So 50 seconds left, third quarter. A drive and a kick and the ball moving around. Kingston from the left wing. He'll draw the blocking foul there on Rodriguez. Be the second on Luke. And I believe the fourth on St. Cecilia of the half. Brodsky comes over the top of the screen.
I mentioned patience by St. Cecilia on offense against a man-to-man. We will see what Platteview does too. And again, patience is how you're setting up the screen, how you're waiting for the screen. Just a lot of things fall into place here.
And sometimes patience really is just waiting for the clock to wind down so you can take one shot in the
Yep.
quarter. That's okay too. Evan Kingston has his dribble, guarded by Luke Rodriguez. And with 10 officially on the clock, here come the Trojans. Kingston trying to make his move, spins, a little fade away, a little contact, no whistle, and that is the end of the third quarter. An 8-point lead for the Platteview Trojans heading to the final 8 minutes here from round one of the York Holiday Invite.
Teens drink 1/4 of all alcohol sold in Nebraska. That's 2 times the national average, 5th worst in the nation. But there's something proven to stop teen binge drinking. It's called parenting, and there is one parenting style that works best. Learn more about the parenting style that works against teen drinking. Talkaboutalcohol.org.
Saying hello to Chad Metzger up in Omaha. He says go Trojans as well. Give us a shout out on Twitter. We'd love to say hello back to you. At Strive Sports, if you are on Twitterverse. 8-point lead for Platteview, trying to get it down low, and that time Van Sciver's pass picked off by Swanson. Quickly back the other end come the Trojans. Now perhaps a little bit of their own kind of patience and a good shot they want to get on offense.
Which is smart.
Kingston trying to post up down low, a foul from behind on Rodriguez.
Well, they noticed the size advantage there too.
Well, and we'd seen earlier in that third quarter, we'd seen kind of the alley-oop on the backdoor cut to Brodsky. That time Kingston ran the cut, and they defended the pass. Were able to get it to Kingston, though, on a post-up that time, or tried to anyway. That's what drew the foul.
It looks like St. Cecilia is dropping back into a zone now.
Played a lot of man in that third quarter after almost exclusively 1-3-1 zone.
And again, without their lone senior, who's Valentine, who's on the bench with an injury. And this is expected from Platteview. This is good coaching too. Extend the defense, open things up.
When the 1-3-1, if they want to come chase, then you can dribble drive and get your guys open shots.
Just like that.
Just like that, Tyler Riley. Thank you for making us look very smart with a headset. Yeah, that's exactly how it's supposed to look, you know. 43-32, matching the biggest lead of the game again, and Kingston with another steal. Trying to get it down low. Evans still with his dribble drive. Took a knee in the thigh. It is of note, Platteview was trailing, if you will, 5-3 in the turnover battle at halftime. They are now leading the turnover battle 7-5.
Oh, wow. That's, again, for young teams, that is just so impressive.
Yeah, still, the number of turnovers has been remarkably low. 6:20 to go in the fourth. Riley, big skip pass back up top.
Very smart for Plattview's sake. You notice they're still using the ball fakes. They're still moving without the ball.
Ooh, right through the hands that time. Braxton Karnick thought he had the stickum, and it went right on through the hands. First second half turnover for Platteview by my really unofficial count, by the way. That's
sure you do a great job.
Totally unofficial.
Spot on. Don't have to hit the panic button yet for St. Cecilia. Yeah, I like this. That's a good play.
That's going to be a good spot to go to. Van Sciver couldn't quite finish that time over Swanson. And you notice how Platteview also recognized that and collapsed down on that post as well. So next move for Van Sciver will be square up and then kick to that open guy. Platteview trying to play some catch out front, make that 1-3-1 chase a little bit.
St. Cecilia will have to change up defensively here soon with going man-to-man.
Sure looks like Platteview is pretty content to take as long as they need to. Oh, good defensive play. Gus Driscoll stuffed the pass and threw it, actually got it back off of Kingston and out of bounds. I was just about to say, you know, Platteview can afford against the zone to be very patient and just kind of throw it around the outside, if you will. And then just like that, the trap worked. Still, though, an 11-point game with 5 minutes to play. Along to the baseline. The drive, no good. Foul on Swanson is his third, and a couple of free throws on the way. This will be Garrett Parr shooting the free throws. Previtt into the game for St. Cecilia, along with, we haven't seen this one yet, Alex Burns, a 6-foot junior. Parr with 5 points in the ball game. 43-34.
St. Cecilia has dropped back to man now.
Yep.
Good recognition by Platteview.
So now a different offensive mentality. Biggest thing here, if you're Platteview, set good screens. You know, they don't have to be hard screens. They just have to be well set. You have to run off the screen,
yes,
shoulder to shoulder. Fundamental things.
Fundamentals. Eric, you've heard every possession counts, but when you're in this situation for St. Cecilia, these possessions hold a lot more weight.
How about the defensive play? There's a freshman going right at the senior. Starr working on Kingston, and Kingston gets the jump ball, stuffing the shot of the freshman, John Starr, that time. Kingston now will go to work on Driscoll across the timeline and hand it off to Trey Brodsky. Under 4 minutes to go in the ball game, still a 9-point lead for Platteview. At the same time, the Trojans, they can't be lackadaisical and not look at the hoop at all, right? But you want to run something that will get you the highest percentage shot you can on any given possession.
Correct. You know your basketball, Eric.
Right? It's almost like I've seen 1,000 games or something.
Bet you have.
About a 40-second possession right now for Platteview. Tyler Riley with it on the near side. And there's a foul on Driscoll.
You can tell just by watching this game, and I said it earlier, that I'm not too familiar with either one of these teams, but you can tell that they're very well coached. You can tell that their players are very well disciplined. Of course, that is showing the lack thereof turnovers with the discipline of the teams. But again, very impressed with what I'm seeing with such young kids out there.
7th team foul, so 1-1 for Evan Kingston, of which he knocks down the first. 17 points. That leads all scorers in the game for Evan. One for two there. 5 out of 7 at the free throw line are the Trojans for the game. Driscoll comes off the screen, gets it back to Starr. Open, can't hit it though. Karnick snatches the rebound for Platteview. 10-point lead for the Trojans, 2:50 to go in the ballgame.
Got to be careful with that screen.
Again, when you come off that screen, best to be shoulder to shoulder.
And yeah, it takes two right there. You can have the screener there, but it takes the person with the ball or rubbing off that screen to come off of them tight.
And a steal, kind of a slow bounce pass that time, and it's Driscoll with a steal. Baseline, the reverse layup by Burns, no good. Jake Hyman, the defensive rebound. And up top, we're going to get a reach-in foul there. So Parr picks up his third, 8th team foul, 1-1. St. Cecilia going to make Platteview earn this one at the end at the free throw line. And for St. Cecilia, Matt Boyd comes in. He replaces Garrett Parr. Starr, Fagot, Parr, Braden Schropp, we've seen him just a little bit. All freshmen. 3 freshmen in the starting lineup for St. Cecilia.
Wow.
This year will be what it will be.
Yep.
But if you're Kevin Asher, you can't help but look at every game and every practice as a big learning opportunity for these guys. No doubt the Blue Hawks are going to be a force in C2 here for the next few years. Good drive. Driscoll got it, and a foul. Oh, by the way, Gus Driscoll, he's a junior, so he'll be back next year.
Yeah.
There's Fagot and Schropp coming in. And along with Matt Boyd. Matt's just a sophomore, so only one senior on the roster here at the York Invite.
Full court man-to-man pressure.
And that was Ashton Valentine for St. Cecilia. We saw Ashton, if you were joining us late, Ashton went out about midway of the second quarter with a leg injury and has not returned, been on the bench with an ice pack since. Kingston there with a dribble drive, and now Brodsky's got it on the far wing. Minute and a half to go in this one. Boys' third place game, somewhere around 12:45 tomorrow. The girls' third place game starts things off at 11 a.m. Blue Hawks looking for the foul there, and they get one from Starr. And that will send Kingston to the line for the last 1-1.
Well, before this game ends, a huge shout out goes to York Public Schools and their administration for putting on a tournament. It takes a lot of work, a lot of help. So it takes up a lot of time, but it's all what's doing what's best for kids. So thank you for York Public School and the community of York for hosting the tournament.
And how about a tip of the hat for Hastings St. Cecilia and Platteview and Elkhorn
with the weather,
all making the trips. That's nobody's got a short drive to go to York for these.
Trust me, as an administrator, when you have weather like this, it's the bottom line is it goes down to safety of the kids and families on the road. And I think that where these teams are traveling from, the interstate was pretty good east of York. Once you get onto the highways and the off roads, it was a little sketchy. But I think it was a good call, and it looks like we've got a good crowd here for a holiday tournament too. So it's good to see this. Which
means we should also have good watching, right? Because everybody should be. If you're not able to get on the road, then you should be watching.
You should be watching on Strive.
That's what we're here for. Cracked unofficially 100 schools as we get ready for.
And congratulations
for the
Strive.
next.
Shout out to you guys.
Next semester. To the foul line goes Evan Kingston. Evan's got 17 points tonight. Had a hot start, 3 threes in the first quarter. Hit his 4th three early in the second quarter. Another basket and a couple of free throws since then. Nine-point lead with a minute 13 to go in this one. Boyd over on the left wing, fires up the three, no good. Karnick, the defensive rebound. Kingston in the backcourt, fouled by Driscoll, and now it will be a double bonus for Evan Kingston. Girls action will be up next. You can watch York and Elkhorn. Elkhorn, the defending B champions. And then, of course, the guys' game, where the York boys are the defending B champions. 30-second timeout taken here with 1 minute to go in this ball game. Check it on Twitterverse.
As Eric's doing that, those of you that are watching and listening, you notice the sponsors on our full timeouts. If you happen to run across these places of business, be sure that you thank them for making this opportunity worth it. And it's just, again, we've said it before, it's impressive that the teamwork that it takes to make everything happen, and they're just part of the Strive team. And speaking of teammates, who do we have here working the York Holiday Tournament? Eric, you've got the whole crew here.
We do. Ben Mohorn, on recent York graduate as of May, actually. So he's a full semester removed from being a high school student himself. But if you have noticed any of our, follow us on our social medias on Strive Sports, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If you've seen a photo or a video that looks like it's
talented.
pretty good, it's Ben.
Ben is very
fantastic.
talented.
Sarah Bruni is our Strive View Education Director. Sarah's actually helping out running the scoreboard here today. And Riley, a new student, not a new student to York, but a new student to the York Media Production class, yet to start her media class, is able to be here today to run our main camera.
Yeah.
So shout out to Riley for helping us out, and a couple of our other cameras stationary. Hoping to get a few more kids involved for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Doing more of this. I don't really need to talk for 4 games in a day.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to let anybody else with the York or Elkhorn. Also, Elkhorn's a new Strive program as of this fall. And yeah, the Strive family just keeps growing a little bit at a time.
A lot of talented people within that Strive team. So well done to you and your team, Eric.
Well, in the team, Taylor was here. The guy that started this whole thing, he's at games about 1 out of 10 anymore.
Yeah.
That's just what the job has become, I guess, for Taylor. He did bring us some food, though. That was nice of him.
It was nice. And if you're listening and you don't know if your school offers Strive or not, you can go to strive.com and no, what is it?
Strive.tv.
Strive.tv and see if your school is providing that service. And if they're not, I strongly suggest that you get in touch with them, because the services they provide is not only streaming events, they also get students involved on how they can be part of the production team. So it's really impressive.
And it's all about sharing your story. Every school's got I'm going to steal this one from Brandon Mowinkle. Everybody has a story. Make sure yours is worth telling.
Yep.
Brandon Mowinkle is the principal at Milford, one of our Strive schools as well. And it is fun, the community of the Strive schools that we have built. It is not, we like to think of it as a lot more than just a streaming service, but whether it's support on game night, something's not working quite right with the stream, that's a big piece of what we do. But with the addition of Sarah, Strive View Education is pretty much constant. We are always sending something out or trying something new. So we might be doing something on Strive Sports that hopefully one of our Strive schools will figure out a way to implement that into another program
and Eric,
or class.
You mentioned that it's more than just striving, because the roots grow deep on everything that branches out. So you might think the production of the actual Strive broadcast alone, but then you think of how you are promoting that through your school. So you're also incorporating a lot of social media, graphic arts. So there's so much more behind it than this Strive.
A little pressure here at the end, and a timeout taken as Tyler Riley got stuck in the corner. 10-point game, 23 seconds left, but we mentioned throughout this game how especially young St. Cecilia is, and both teams graduated so many guys from last year's teams that you're really kind of starting over with varsity experience. And so both teams experience-wise, a long way to go, but they're going to take, even in a 10-point game in 23 seconds, taking every possible way to try to teach end-of-game situations. It's all about reps at this point for these guys.
You are right. And you think when the basketball season's over, too, it doesn't stop there. And I know that, kids are so busy anymore, honing their craft. But, these kids are involved in anything and everything. And as long as they understand that concept of teamwork and working hard, that's part of it. Yeah, sure, you have to play together. And a lot of these kids probably do. They're probably playing football together. Their track, their one act, their play production, their speech, whatever they're doing, you do it together and you just be a good teammate.
Kingston grabs the inbounds and will shoot a couple more double bonus free throws. Tanner Milliken set to check in here momentarily for Platteview. Also Burns back in for St. Cecilia. Bit of a struggle for Evan. I know he's such a good shooter. He's only been perfect at the line twice. A lot of 1-for-2s on his trips.
Nice
Good
move.
drive and hang and finish by Schropp there. He's got 4 points here in the fourth quarter, and with 8 seconds left, another timeout for the Blue Hawks, and a 9-point Platteview lead. Platteview will improve to 6-3 on their season. St. Cecilia will be 4-4. We mentioned that third-place game will be tomorrow for the boys after the third-place girls game, which will start. A reminder that it's a different time schedule for tomorrow, an 11 a.m. start for the third-place girls game here at the Duke Dome, and then the third-place boys game somewhere around 12:45 when we get that one going. After that will be the girls' championship and then the boys' championship there, probably somewhere around 3:30, 4 o'clock in that vicinity before we wrap things up for the York Holiday Tournament. Speaking of York, maybe we should save this story for when the York teams are playing, but it was a year ago during this tournament when we at Strive were able to be at the York Holiday Invite and have a multiple camera switcher available for the first time for a York media production. And the kids had an absolute blast. We had 3 cameras going. We had, a different person running switcher, and on the laptop there was a whole big production that they'd never seen before. That spurred a very gracious and generous donation from a member or somewhere in the community, and York was able to upgrade all of their equipment and get this multiple camera switcher. Almost nothing that is being used right now is Strive's.
Yes,
it is all York's, and it was based on what this person, whoever it was able to see during the holiday tournament. So kind of a 1-year anniversary of the
that is a great story.
Shall we say the rebirth of the York media production team.
A great story.
Back to back for Kingston here. Final seconds for Stair, and that is your ball game. 52-41, Platteview with the win over Hastings St. Cecilia. Tally things up real quickly here. John Stair finishes with 2 points. Paul Fagot with 4. Gus Driscoll with 7. Garrett Parr with 5. Ashton Valentine 9 before he left midway through that second quarter with the leg injury. Alec Van Sciver with 7. Luke Rodriguez with 2, and Schropp with 4 there in that fourth quarter. For Evan Kingston, it was 16, then 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 points for Evan Kingston in the ball game. Tyler Riley with 9. Thank you, Tim. 1 for Braxton Karnick, 6 for Paxton Swanson, and 9 for Trey Brodsky. That is your final here from the Duke Dome. It is Platteview winning 52-41 over Hastings St. Cecilia. So the boys' third-place game tomorrow around 11:45 or 12:45, for Hastings St. Cecilia. And then, of course, it was the Platteview girls will be playing at 11 o'clock against the loser of the next game on the floor. That is York and Elkhorn. You can see both those games coming up here on the York Strive channel. If your connection cuts off for just a few minutes, we've got to cool down some equipment. Takes a lot of juice to run these streams. So a momentary break in the stream, and we will come back for York and Elkhorn girls action.